And then we have Fulham here, Teresa N, 1878 to 1942, and John, 1864 to 1920. And then directly behind here, right here, is actually my family grave, the McKenzies here. We have George G. and Catherine A. McKenzie. George, 1851 to 1919, and Catherine, 1867 to 1951. And some of my own somewhat distant relatives that lived here in Eggy, Indiana. And so, yeah, quite a journey of my own to come to this point where I've actually been able to find some of my own historic family members. You can see that, you know, George here was born before the Civil War, and Catherine slightly after. And so it would have, again, been a very historic, poignant moment in American history that they would have gone through, you know, and lived to tell the tale and had family, and you know, here we are today. So kind of an interesting moment here on the 539 channel. Okay, let's continue. We'll come back and maybe do this again sometime and find some more of my family in different areas. I think there might be a few more here. I don't know if that's the sum total of everyone here or not, but I'm gonna go and look up some more information, see what I can find. I think some of their family were from out of state before them. I believe they came in from Maryland, I believe it was. Maryland or Pennsylvania. There's been a couple different trails from different sides of the family, so I definitely see some people over there on the farm working, so that must have been what I heard in the woods. Okay, let's keep moving here, and we'll get a few more and then call it a day. So some of these are showing some serious wear and tear. This is actually a cross here, and see that it's just kind of rusted away there where it connected. Really hard to tell. You can see, may their souls rest in peace. The names are a little bit harder. You can see over here it's a little bit easier. We see Fred Schaefer, I believe, 1849 to 1904. Let's see if there's maybe one on the other side here. Yeah, we have Mary Schaefer. Looks like November 1st, 1846 to November 25th, 1896. Sorry, I think that was out of focus. I'm gonna look at that one more time. And traveling down the road, these are, again, some of the ones that are the hardest to tell. And so maybe I'll have to come back here later on with a flashlight and get a little bit more done here. Let me see Anthony here. Trying to look actually on my phone screen. It's like Anthony Dancy. I can't really. Yeah, that's really hard. 1859 to 1933 maybe. And then next to it, yeah, we can see it wasn't just Anthony John. Okay, so we have Catherine, wife of Anthony John. That makes a little bit more sense. 1896 to, what does that say? It says age 65 years. Oh, okay, 1896. I was looking at it wrong. I see. Died 1896. And then we have Fred John, an interesting name. Always wonder what it's like to sort of have two first names. 1871. And another veteran here. And Charles, and this one has an S at the name, at the end, excuse me. It says Charles Johns, Indiana. Sergeant Hugh M. Corpse. Is that maybe the Marine Corps? June 13th, 1936. Interesting. I wonder what war they would have served in. Maybe a World War I, possibly. You see again, unless that's an 1836, and I don't think so. That looks pretty clearly 19, but you do see the GAR marker here, and that might be out of place. I don't know that the GAR actually still exists at all. I'm not 100% certain on that. I'll look that up and correct myself if I'm wrong, but this one again, just another one that's so hard. It's a little bit easier on camera, but I think we might be out of luck for a lot of the rest of this place, and then some of the stuff on this far end are again newer things that I'm going to leave to the families for the moment. I try to keep stuff in a historical context here. And here's an interesting one here with a story on it. And it says, "Here stood the altar of the first Eggy Church, which was hand-built and donated by this sturdy Catholic pioneer in 1854. And so it looks like it's actually a grave, and it's the grave of the person who built the original church and the exact point where the altar of the church was, which is really, I mean, just an epic story. That's really cool. And I think this is the one that we actually read before, and I didn't think to look around the back. We have Gabriel Girodot, 1813 to 1904, and Christine Henriette, 1817 to 1898, excuse me. And so what an amazing story. So this actually is technically a graveyard, and there was originally a church, and right here was the front of the church. And I wonder which way it would have stood, if the people would have been maybe more this way where this open area is here, or if it would have been facing the road here, probably, even though maybe not in history, but I'm guessing the roads probably in this area, being as unpopulated as it is, have probably not changed so much. So thank you all so much for being here. I apologize at the recent one-day break there. It was just purely a story of me getting incredibly busy and not getting a free moment to get things done. So I apologize. Shouldn't happen again for a long time, but thank you for joining me here on 539. Again, make sure to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. You can share it on your favorite social media if you get the chance. Ooh, we have a official visitor. Someone has drove in the other entrance and is slowly driving around. I don't think that they're necessarily here for me. But we'll wait and see what happens here. It's kind of interesting. There's this little entryway right here, and into this like little side section. I don't think it's actually part of the cemetery, but yeah, so our visitor is now coming off here. I'll show you. So we're gonna head on back to the car here and just kind of see what happens. I might throw this in the first part, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe they were just doing a loop around to see who was there. Might be a local. But they definitely pulled in one side, slowly drove around, and then left without visiting a single memorial. So, a little odd. Did see a few trucks that looked like they made several passes. But nothing really too bad. No one really messed with me, so no big deal. But thank you again for watching on here on 539. I think this is probably going to be in the first part. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and give it a thumbs up if you like the video. Again, if you share it across your favorite social media network, you know, it really does help the algorithm and helps the 539 channel to find new viewers and new fans, new people that are into the cemetery exploration. And so thank you all very much for your continued support. Again, I'm apologizing at the break in episodes that we had recently, just a slight mistake, but we'll be back in full force here from here on out, and I will see all of you in our next adventure. And so, just as I'm saying that, Visitor 2 is pulled up behind me, so we're going to keep the film rolling here for a second. Again, I don't know what part this is going to be in, but either someone else is parking to visit. In that case, I'm not going to film them and be respectful. But if they do come out to interact with me, I want to see what they're here for. Because I've never actually gotten any... I've had several different occurrences, as you know, over the years, of people, like, checking up on me to see what I'm doing. And so I've never gotten one person to ever, like, say... And we're not talking about, like, security, like I said, like, private citizens who've kind of taken on themselves to be, like, security at a location. And so I've never got one of them to ever, like, tell me what they're doing or anything, so it's kind of weird. But let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Oh no, okay, so that was actually I didn't see, that was actually the car that just pulled past. So they pulled in, parked for just a second, and then pulled out and left, I think. Oh no, this is it. Okay, so this is the second person now to do a loop. So he pulled up behind me, parked, and then must have thrown it in reverse, went in the entrance, did a loop around, and then went off. Again, I don't make this stuff up. Some of these places, people just take a vested interest in taking or I should say they take a vested interest in protecting it with their own hands. And yeah, it's been a long time since anything like that's happened. Again, that no one really did anything to intimidate me. I want to make that very abundantly clear, but several people have made it a point to stop, and that last person actually stopped directly behind my car, then decided to do a loop around the cemetery. So again, I don't think they were being necessarily threatening, but it is kind of strange how in some of these rural small areas there's a few local people that'll keep an eye on things to a certain degree, and we'll leave it at that. Alright, see you in the next one.